Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler for each series V's I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. Merry Christmas! Yeah, at the time I'm doing this, it's literally Christmas Day. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? It happens to be my Lilac shirt. That's what I'm going with. I think I heard it pronounced some lilac, but I'm going with lilac. That's a V. And it's cool. I like the design, very sort of retro, sort of automaton style. But what is lilac or livac or whatever? They're a band out of North Carolina. I became aware of them a few days ago at the time I'm doing this. They were on tour with a band called A Killer's Confession, who I'm a big fan of. I'd actually never heard of these folks before, never seen any of their stuff, heard any of their music. But, I always like to go into new bands just kind of completely raw, just see what they have to offer. And they blew me away. All the bands were fucking phenomenal, but I have to admit that when it came to, new experiences, Livac really just fucking took it for me. It was just I absolutely loved everything they did, loved their music, loved their stage presence. They were badass. I actually got some videos of their performance. Also got some pictures with them. They're very nice people, by the way. But those videos are on the channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why am I doing a review on Christmas? So yeah, it is in fact Christmas Day at the time I'm doing this, and I am going to upload this later today, so this will be a Christmas review. And, folks, you gotta ask yourself, well, Brandon, what kind of review could you possibly do on Christmas? Well, I decided to go over there and tag into the trope of maybe going out and getting some Chinese food on Christmas. I'm actually going to be spending Christmas with some friends, kind of back in my old stomping grounds, and I figured I got some time to kill. Let's hit up some review stuff. I was actually kind of surprised, though. There's not as many places. I mean, obviously, there's not going to be a lot of places open, but I figured, again, the Chinese food, Asian food type of thing, that would be more prevalent. But I only found one that was open. And it happens to be a place I've never been before. It's a local spot, and it's called Boom, which is not a thing. Do I have anything that has a thing on it? No. It's called Chamber Red, and it's in St. Charles, Illinois. Like I said, these are actually my old stomping grounds from back when I was a wee little kid, so it's cool to be back in the area. And I've never been to Chamber Red. It wasn't here when I was a kid, so let's give it a shot. And if you watch my channel, you watch me review some Chinese food reviews, you know that I always like to start my reviews with a new place with some Boom Sesame chicken. And I have to admit, this smells really good, very, very fragrant. The rice looks a little anemic, but all right, let's get a thing. They had a relatively small menu, but there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're doing the stuff right, that's what matters. So, let's get a thing for the thing here. Looks like this, and we'll kind of let's give it a go. Nice and crispy. Very sweet. Sweetness kind of dials back. You can taste a little bit of the oil. It's not bad, but you get a hint of it. Okay. Well, I like the crispiness of it. I have to say, I think the crispiness is fantastic. Genuinely some of the best crispiness I've seen on a sesame chicken. I'm going to say, I think the sesame chicken pieces themselves, though, a little bit small. You get a lot of it, but it doesn't seem like you're getting very big pieces. But the chicken itself is nice. It's tender, tasty. And as for the sesame coating and everything like that, I will say I think they could have done a little bit better job with coating the different pieces with the sesame. Seems like they kind of more just did it over the top instead of really properly spreading it around. But, oh, it definitely is kind of a little bit of a different vibe than I'm used to with sesame chicken. The the level of sweetness is a little bit higher than I'm used to. Like, the sesame sauce or whatever it is that they use, it tends to be a little bit sweet, but it tends to err a little bit more on the savory side, with kind of some sweetness throughout. This airs a little bit more on the sweet side, almost like to the extent of being like a General Tso's chicken. But it's not bad. Plus, fuck, I mean, the hell, they were open on Christmas. And they seem to be really busy, too, so good on them. Plus, I like the name of their place. Chamber Red sounds like a early 2000s video game studio. That's not bad. It's nothing exceptional, but like there's nothing actively bad about it. I would have liked a little bit more broccoli, if I'm being honest. Broccoli is undercooked. Yeah. I don't mind my broccoli a little crunchy, but this is just a little bit off base. A little bit longer. And you can still taste a little bit of that a little bit of that raw kind of broccoli flavor. Yeah, broccoli definitely a little bit of a letdown. Granted, it's obviously more of a garnish, but still. I like broccoli. Get a little bit of the fried rice. Not bad. It's perfectly adequate. It reminds me of Panda Express fried rice, though. Like, which again is fine. It's adequate. It gets the job done, but it doesn't really excite the senses. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Kinda and kinda. Like, there's nothing about it that's bad, and it's perfectly fine as, like, just a nice little takeout thing. It's definitely nowhere near the best sesame chicken I've had, but I will say I think the sesame chicken is the best part of it. The flavor's a little bit different than I'm used to, but not by leaps and bounds. Like, it definitely still tastes like sesame chicken. It's just certain elements are highlighted a little bit more. But I don't entirely mind that. Like, I kind of like their version of it. But it does... I just kind of feel like overall, it just... The dish itself, the whole plate from the chicken to the broccoli to the rice, it just feels fine. Like, there's nothing bad about it or anything, but, especially if you've watched my reviews, like, I've had some really stellar sesame chicken. This, not bad sesame chicken. Again, perfectly adequate. And I think for myself personally, again, I don't live in the area anymore. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm probably not going to be out this way anytime real soon to go over there and get it again. And there are some other places that I do know in the area that are still here from when I was a kid. I mean, it'll do in a pinch is kind of the best way I could look at it. Like, I appreciate that they're open on Christmas. I think that's fantastic. Like I said, I'm really happy that, they seem to be doing good business and everything. It's not bad. I think if I lived closer by, like, especially if I lived, like, within a reasonable driving or walking distance, I'd probably order from here again, because, like, it's not a bad little place for, some pickup Chinese food, but it's also not anything exceptional. And that's why if I'm recommending it, really it's going to be based off of convenience with this one. I love going over there and supporting local businesses. By the way, since this is a Illinois spot, it's going to end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which plays for just Illinois spots. And, I always love to rave about them, and, but at the same time, I do have to be honest, And honestly, there's nothing bad with this dish from Chamber Red. It's perfectly fine, but it's just that. And the fact of the matter is I do know that in St. Charles there are some other Chinese food places that are personally a little bit more impressive than this. Again, it's adequate, it'll get you by, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you're in the area or something like that, I don't think you're going to be mad at it. But, again, I do think there's better spots. But 5 things before we get out of here, though. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over yourselves a truly Merry Christmas-tastic rest of your life, or Happy Holidays, or whatever works for you. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have any particular holiday traditions that you like to engage in? I do actually like doing the, because, a lot of times, like, sometimes I'll be out with my family or friends or whatever for the holidays, but, every now and again I just get one of those ones where I'm just kind of rolling it solo. And I do like going out to Chinese food places and stuff. I can find it kind of fun. And again, seriously, like, even though I wasn't maybe as gleaming about my review as I would have liked to have been, seriously, 4 marks to Chamber Red for being open on Christmas. That's super fucking cool of them. And it helps out schlobs like me. So, anyway,